Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Multifamily and More Expert Series, where we dive deep with our expert guest on one specific topic in the area of real estate, mindset, or anywhere in between. My name is Jamie Gruber. I'm your host, and I'm happy to welcome back our esteemed guest, Russell Westcott. Russell is a real estate entrepreneur, author, inspirational public speaker who's focused on helping real estate investors start, grow, and scale the real estate portfolio of their dreams. He is a co-author of 2 best-selling Canadian real estate books, 97 Tips for Canadian Real Estate Investors and Joint Ventures, and the Canadian Investor's Guide to Raising Money and Getting Deals Done. Russell, welcome. Glad to have you.
Wow. Thank you. I couldn't have wrote that better myself, Jamie.
I think you did write it, though.
Maybe.
Maybe. Could be. I don't know. I just wrote this down. It was just something I came up with. We'll go with that.
I'm honored to serve. And I hope, I know we've done a couple segments now. So obviously maybe you did something right the first time to be invited back. So I guess that's actually a key thing to learn is if you've done such a good job the first time, you keep getting invited back,
That's right. We might have to do a third and a fourth because the first one was incredible. And I know your content with this topic is going to be amazing as well. So we've established that you've written books about this topic, which is how to raise capital effectively. But what is the basis, or I guess, give us a little bit of a background on why this became a topic of passion for you?
Yeah, I'll give you the, maybe I'm showing my age here a bit and using the reference of Cole's Notes. Are you familiar with that term, with the Cole's Notes?
And we're the same age.
The Cole's Notes is the book you bought of the summary of the book before you did your homework in high school to do the paper?
Canadian U.S. translation. So Russell's up in Canada. In the U.S., it's Cliff Notes here.
Cliff Notes, yes. Okay.
Coles or Cliff, but Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
Yes. Got it.
So first of all, before we dive into it, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the second invitation to jump on here. And you know what? I'm wearing the same clothes as I did on the last one too. So it's when you have something that resonates with you. I love Hawaii, and that's why I wear my Aloha shirt. I have my pineapple water drink and stuff like that. So
nice.
Anyways, I'm just honored and touched, and I just wanted to thank you. And I wanted to thank everybody who's going to be watching this. And I want to thank, Jamie, for taking the time to put together the resources to help support your community. As money raising and the capital is one of the biggest obstacles real estate investors will face. And you taking the time to help nurture and grow your community is doing a wonderful service for the community of real estate investors. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
No, I'm humbled by your presence here. Honestly, we have a mutual friend who thinks the world of you, as do I. So to have you here is a blessing to this community. So thank you. I appreciate that. Nice.
Well, thank you very much. Well, the Cliff Notes, see, look how quick I pivot there. The Cliff Notes version of the story, the backstory about this is so. Unlike, most of you here, if you're watching this, you're on a journey and you're searching and you're looking for content, you're looking for information, you're looking for some education, no different than the journey that I was on. I went out to lots of conferences and lots of workshops, and I went to this one workshop, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of the first ones I went there. And it was one of those workshops that it was all hype and hyperbole and coffee and lots of sugar and no sleep. And it was like raw, give me an R, give me an E, give me an A, give me an L, real estate, woo, woo, woo. Right? I know we've all been to those, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I remember like one of the presenters came on stage, jeans, belt buckle, belt boots, like almost had like a bow-legged swagger walking up there. And he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have a harsh reality to share with you in real estate. Money is required to buy real estate." And all of a sudden, as soon as he said that, the entire oxygen and all the hype and sugar and caffeine just completely left the room.
Sure.
And I remember sitting there, I'm sitting in the room feeling like, okay, global domination, new speaker, take notes. And then as soon as he said that, I went, my pen, and I felt like somebody kicked me in the stomach.
Yeah.
And all the air left my body. Now, why did I feel that way, Jamie? Why do you think?
Because the reality is not as fun as the fantasy of what things could be. You were all
absolutely, and I had no money.
Oh, fair enough.
The reality is money was needed to buy real estate, and I had none.
Should have known that.
Yeah. But then the good news is, like any good presenter on stage, he let that truth bomb just float and sink into the room, and everybody felt it, right? And then what felt like an eternity, very quickly after that, he said, but here's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't have to be your money.
Yeah.
Whew, hope again, right? So then I went on a journey, and the journey I went on, no different than Luke Skywalker going to the Dagobah system to go work with Yoda. I went to find all the best of the best people that could train me on how to raise the money from other people, because I didn't have any. Step number one is I learned how the banks worked and got the banks on board. The banks were able to, learned how to get mortgages. So I got that, but then I was missing the down payment capital. Okay. And what happened to me was a story of, in the mail, the post office, U.S. Postal Service and Canada Post, delivered to me a cassette tape. Now, for those of you that are maybe a different generation, there used to be these little things that had little reels in them, and they had a tape that would go around, and you had your Walkman, big giant brick Walkman, fuzzy earbuds, and your battery would last about 30 minutes.
Just enough to hear Ice Ice Baby 3 times.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we would sit there. I remember in the mail came this cassette tape. On this cassette tape was an early mentor of mine, and talked about the concept of joint venturing, raising capital from other people. It was about 25 minutes long. I grabbed that cassette tape. I listened to it on the airplane from a plane ride from where I was in Vancouver to Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I listened to that thing back and forth and back and forth. My battery was starting to die. And people of my age bracket would get this reference. You take when you take the cassette tape out, you put a big pen on the one side and you spin it around to rewind it. So you don't kill your battery.
Yep.
And on that cassette tape was magic words. It was magic words. It was like an inception moment for me, like the movie Inception, where an idea got drilled so deep into my head that it just became an obsession. And I decided at that time I was going to learn everything I possibly could about raising capital, how to do it, learn from the best, stand on the shoulders of giants of others, hire coaches, hire mentors, and learn everything I possibly could. And then eventually I started giving back. I started teaching people what I would learn. I wrote a book. I did a home study program. I built an entire community where I trained people where to get the money to buy real estate. Yeah. So I know I said I would do a short version of that story, but that is the short version. That's 20 years in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Okay. So flash forward now, you raise capital, I would assume, on the regular. What are some of the things that people need to do? I don't know, you'd go tactics, mindset, or is it a combination of the two? But what are some things that people need to be aware of when it comes to how to raise capital effectively? Yeah,
absolutely. Well, do you mind if I over-deliver here for a second, Jamie?
I would love for you to.
Okay? No, so obviously everybody's going, no, Russell, don't over-deliver, right? So I'm going to give you an acronym. And I'm just going to teach you a four-step framework for you to do it. Because I believe in giving value and giving you something extremely tangible that you can walk away with. Okay. And even though we have, only say 20, 25 minutes, I want you to, after you've listened to this, go, holy moly, I got more teachable moments in that 20 minutes than I did on probably listening to hours.
I bet we will. Yeah.
So here's the acronym. I want you to spell out CASH. Now, what does that spell?
Let me see the A. Cash.
Spells cash, right? So it's an easy acronym for many people to learn, okay? So here's a 4-step framework on raising the capital. The C stands for creating leads, right? So you need to, and I will come back after I tell you what each of the acronyms stand for, and I'll come back and I'll dive deep. So the C stands for create leads. A stands for amplify desire. S stands for structure your deal, and H stands for hustle and close quickly. Okay, so let's go back to creating leads. So what you want to do is, if I was, and this was an early mentor of mine shared this with me and said, if you were going to get arrested for being a real estate investor, what evidence would I be able to find on you? Meaning, like, for example, if any of you are watching that, if I went into your social media channel, or I went onto your Instagram or your Facebook or to your web page, what evidence would I be able to find on you being a real estate investor? Most people's answer is, well, nothing, right? Most people say, well, I'm a little shy on that. That's my personal page. That's where I post the cat pictures and the family pictures. Well, okay, but you can create a business page. So what are you doing to create leads? Like, what are you doing? Are you shooting Facebook Lives? Are you doing Instagram stories? Are you, even though you might even be beginning, are you documenting your journey as you are a real estate investor of where you are going in the process? Like where you do, what you learn. Here's a lesson. Here's a lesson. Here's a lesson. Now, here's the story I'm going to share with you. And I love sharing other people's stories other than myself, because I get more of a kick out of helping others than actually doing my own deals, which my personal belief is the more people I help, if I help enough people, which will lead to enough abundance coming back to me, and then I will take more action because I've helped enough people. Okay. So the person you had mentioned earlier, Michael Bugg, who is a good friend of ours, who's also part of this community, when we started working together, he did not even have on his phone the Facebook app. He didn't even have it on his phone. Okay. So on one of our coaching sessions, I said, Mike, I took him to, there was a store called London Drugs. I went and I bought a tripod for him, a little handheld tripod to put on there, and he downloaded that. He didn't even know how to push the button on where to do for a Facebook Live.
Sounds like
and
Mike. Yeah.
And he just went out and he started doing a Mondays with Mike, and he would do a Friday, and he just consistently put out, and he was doing things like, guys, I'm at the house today, and this is what drives me nuts about eaves troughs. And the next one he was talking about a sump pump. And the next one he was talking about being at a vet conference, and he was just documenting his journey on things. He now is raising capital in the tunes of $400,000 at a time plus, and that's only been a year and a half of him committing to doing this work.
Amazing. Yeah.
Right. And it's him just documenting his journey as a real estate investor and just showing to the world of what he's about. So that people say, well, that is a lead generation. That's the C, create lead. Okay. Then the A for amplify desire is a fancy way of putting is how do you nurture the lead and how do you excite the people to eventually want to work with you. And it's called a discovery session. So let's say you've shot a video, somebody reached out to you on Facebook and they said, man, I love what you're doing. I'd love to have a conversation with you about if you're ever looking for investment partners. That is somebody that's raised their hand and said that they want to have a conversation with you, right? Yep. Then what you want to do is you book a time to have a conversation with that person. And then what you do is you ask them a whole bunch of questions. I actually have an entire script and a list of questions and a training video on how to have the discovery session. Now, Jamie, are you okay if I share that list with your audience?
Love for you to, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I will give you the link and you guys can just download the script, download the question, and then there's an entire training video on how to do it too.
I'll put it right in the comments on this video as well.
Perfect.
So, yes.
Okay. So really what you're doing is you're really getting clear on if somebody can work with you. You're getting a clear on their ability to move forward. You're getting a clear on their why. The most important thing is you want to know their reason why they would work with you. And it's a series of questions that I dive into of doing that. For example, I will position it as something. I will lead a question. It's called a future pacing question. I'll just give you this one.
Future pacing question?
Future pacing. I will put Jamie into the future. Okay. Now, let's say, Jamie, we know each other. Let me ask a couple quick questions. Are you? I know you're a family man. Kids? How old are the kids?
4.5, 1.5.
4.5. So young kids. Okay. Yep. Do you have what is a hobby? What do you love to do when you're not doing this real estate gig?
Probably something sports related. Play basketball.
Perfect. Okay. So I would sit there and I go, Jamie, let's say we're sitting at the courtside at the Pistons game. It's 5 years from now.
Yeah.
7 years from now. We're sitting courtside at the Pistons game and we're having a little tequila shot. Right?
Sure.
What has had to happen over the last 7 years for you to feel happy and fulfilled if we were to do a deal together and work together on a real estate investment deal? What has had to happen for you in order for that to make you feel good about that?
To make me feel good about
about us working together on a transaction.
What has had to happen for me to feel good about us working on a transaction?
Yeah, on working on a property that we're going to buy together.
So I guess I would have to, know you.
Yep.
I think I would have to understand, if our values aligned. I think I'd have to understand if what we were trying to accomplish was at least in some way, shape, or form aligned.
Yep. So I'm making notes of everything you're saying. We were having that conversation. So to me, I'm hearing alignment, connection, and relationship are really important, right?
Very much so. For me,
and I know probably within your governing reason why something to do with your children and providing a financial future of without pain, without suffering for your children is part of your governing why.
My big why is I'd love to, my goal is to be able to travel 2 to 3 months a year with my kids, get them a new experience in this world, prior to them going out and doing it on their own. So that's my ultimate goal.
Okay. Where would you travel?
A lot of places. We would go, my wife's from Latin America, so we would spend some time down there. She has lived in Europe for a while. We would go over there. I would, navigate this country. We have friends in Northern California. I mean, the list goes on and on. So a little bit of everywhere, but probably starting out, it would be in Latin American.
Latin America. Whereabouts in Latin America?
She's from the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic. We would go
Dominican. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, guys, you're watching live and in person of me having a conversation with Jamie, and I know so much about your reason why of doing this. Have I presented a deal to Jamie yet? I haven't talked about anything really real estate related yet, but I know the reason why you'd want to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So absolutely. The next question I would say is, I know that you want to travel with your kids 2 to 3 months of the year, Latin America, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I would then ask another question. I go, what kind of money do you think you would need to have in 7 years to be able to afford that lifestyle?
I would peg it at, $20,000 a month. So
$20,000 a month.
Yeah.
$240,000 a year, give or take.
Yep.
Okay. So what I just did was I pegged the dollar amount to Jamie's dream. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next thing I would do is I would ask a very specific question: is what's stopping you from creating that $20,000? Now, Jamie, pretend you're not a real estate investor and you're not doing all the things you're doing. I would ask the question is, what's stopping you from making that $20,000 a month?
Well, even being an investor and trying to build my portfolio and everything, I think what's mostly stopping me, is probably some limiting beliefs about my ability to execute on this, what seems like a dream. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not good enough for that. So I think some mindset stuff for me is what's holding me back.
Yep. So you're saying that you probably can't do it on your own, right? You need a little bit of maybe coaching or help, or you need a little bit of support to help your dream come true.
Perfectly put. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
So Jamie, would you like my help for you to get there?
Look at you, man. Yes, of course I would.
Well, okay. A master practitioner just led Jamie through a conversation of he now has given me permission to make a presentation to him. Right? Yeah. I do not, here's the biggest mistake most people do is they've got their little presentation deck and somebody says, yeah, I'm interested. And they fire the presentation deck off and go, here you go. And then they will fail. You will fail most times. If you actually just take the time to do a discovery session, have this conversation. Now, in the video, in the script that I will send you guys, it's more than, I think it's like a 40-minute presentation. So I go a lot deeper into it than just, but here, did we not in 7 minutes have a pretty quick conversation to be able to get to your governing reason why? And I got you to give me permission to make a presentation.
Let me we didn't prep this.
No, we did not at all.
This was like off the cuff. In fact, I get nervous with that. I'll just admit here, like when somebody asks the question that has an obvious answer, I always feel like, okay, I'm going to say the wrong thing. That's okay. So as you were leading me through that, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to say what I would say, right? If I were asked these questions. And yeah, my feeling in me, as you led me down this path, was when you asked that question, would you like help? It was relieving. Does that make sense? Like,
would you like my help was the question.
Do you need my help? Right. Yeah. I felt relieved. I felt like I found something. So I don't know if I over-explained the answer to what you were just asking, but I wanted to kind of honor you on that because that was interesting. That was, for me, that was kind of a neat experience. I feel like I got taken through something in front of everybody that I wasn't expecting to be taken through.
Well, there you go. So think about now back to the acronym. Created a lead. Jamie reached out to me through Facebook. He saw a video I was doing. He liked what you're doing. I'd love to have a conversation. I amplified your desire to want to work with me, right?
Yeah.
The S stands for structure a deal. So what I would then do is taking all this information, and I have a deal on my thing. Let's say I'm working on a good deal. I'm working on a single family home with a garage suite that has a potential in 5 years to make $115,000 equity, and based on my projections. I would then take my PowerPoint presentation deck and I would load it with pictures of family. I would load it in the colors of the Dominican flag. I would load it in all the things that are important to you. And then I do that presentation to you of what's most important to you. And just something when I'm presenting it to you, you'll sit there and go, something just really resonated with me with that presentation.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
Because most people fire off the presentation deck and without any thought, I actually know the details of the person I'm presenting to, and I actually customize it to you, right?
That's amazing. Yeah.
So then I will now structure the deal for us on how we would work together. And each case is a little bit different. And then the H on it is, once I got to a point where you've said, yes, I'm going to hustle and I'm going to close quickly, because if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. Or at that time, if you need more nurturing, I'll put you into a nurturing campaign.
Wow. I love that. So wow. Okay. So you're getting at the heart of the human, right? The person. Genuinely, it's not, this didn't feel tactical to me, right? Like it felt like you were truly interested in me. And I really love the idea of structuring the deal, not only, financially based on what this person is looking for, but customizing. That's beautiful. That's incredible.
Well, and the reason being is 100% of my intention. Now, if you go back to the video we shot on doing presentation, my intention of the FIRE acronym, feeling, intention, reflect upon, and execution, my intention is to serve you.
Yeah.
And it's 100%. And that's where I come across. If you came down to the fact, if you answered the question and said, and I asked the question, what's stopping you from getting there? And you said, nothing. I can do this I can do this. You know what my response would be? I agree. I know you can do it. High five. How can I help you? Can I refer you to an expert? Can I give you my mortgage broker? Can I give you my realtor? My intention is to serve you and fight for your dream. And if you can do it on your own, do it on your own. And I'm going to be your cheerleader and your coach and get you there, right? Most people will have a fear about doing it and they need someone else's help. And that's where I come into the transaction.
Yeah, and
because I provide them what they cannot do. But my intention 100% of the beginning is to make sure we create a deal that gets you closer to traveling 2 to 3 months of the year to the Dominican Republic, and you create a $20,000 a year income stream. And my goal is to fight for you to get that as fast as possible, because I participate in you winning.
That's amazing. I love that because I always talk about the abundance versus scarcity mindset. And what you just articulated is fully the abundance mindset. Not only did you say, hey, I'm going to structure a deal for you, but if the person was on the sidelines or wanted to do it on their own, then you might just cheerlead them, right? That's my
intention. My intention is to support you and fight for your dream.
I love it.
As a matter of fact, if we were to work together, Jamie, I would call our joint venture, I would call it Project Dominican. And I would do that because we're not buying a house in this market with a garage suite. Don't get attached to the asset. Let's get attached to the dream. Let's get attached to the outcome. Let's get attached to fighting for you to create the result you want.
Big why.
And the real estate is just the vehicle to help you fulfill your dream.
That's a really, really well put way of getting at that why we talk about all the time. That's amazing. So, all right.
So we kind of did a little live coaching. Now, Jamie, if I was a real good one. So if you're interested, where you can send your check, and I'll get my lawyer to contact your lawyer and we'll just take care of it, right?
Perfect. We're good. I'm writing it out right now. Open dollar amount. You fill it in.
Right on.
All right. So incredible content. You talked about the CASH acronym. I love that so much. Where can people find out more about you, more about your product services, all of that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to just say, as good of a teacher as I believe I am, I could only kind of scratch the surface. And thank you for the opportunity here. Like, there's so much below the surface here. Like, honestly, we did like half an hour, and I've got like 150 hours of this content that really dive deep into this. So the best place, if anyone is ever interested, is the hub of all things is my personal brand, which is russellwestcott.com. if you just check out that website, and you can find out there's service I do for coaching, or the Raising Capital Academy, or I do sales and marketing training. I do lots of different things. And at the heart of it all, I'm a real estate investor, and I love helping people start, grow, and scale their real estate investing portfolio of the dream. That's what I'm all about.
I love it. Russell, once again, thank you so much for all you've delivered to us today. I look forward to getting to know you more and networking with you a bit more. And I know you're part of the Michigan Multifamily and More community, so you can tag them, find them there. RussellWestcott.com. Check that out as well for a ton of great content. I've looked at his site. It's pretty cool, actually. A lot of great stuff there. And then, look in the comments down here. I'll have a link to the script that he referenced earlier. And tons of value. You over-delivered on what you said. More than we could ask for in a 25-minute session here. So
Jamie, do I need to become a Wolverines fan now that part of this group?
I'll be honest, I'm a transplant to Michigan. So the whole college rivalry thing is new to me. So I'm going to stay agnostic on that for the sake of those who watch us here. I'm not a Michigan State guy, not a Michigan guy. They're both great. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to play both sides because I don't want to isolate half of my audience here.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, if you're watching this, if offer some feedback. I'm always open for feedback. If you ever want me to come out live or do something too, I come out to Toronto quite a bit. It's not too far away. I would imagine to zip down there. Maybe Jamie and I can coordinate some calendars and some timelines, and maybe I can come out there and deliver some training for you if you're interested.
I would love it. We do a meetup locally. So I think we can make that happen. I'd love that. Yeah, we'll chat more about that for sure.
I can get across the border. So that's cool too.
That's good.
They do let Canadians in. There's not, sorry for getting political for a second. There's not a wall on the northern side.
Makes sense. No, makes sense. For those of you that are enjoying this content, please make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube. We deliver a new expert series every week. And I know for sure folks are going to get a ton out of this. So Russell, once again, I really appreciate your time and energy today.
Right on. Honored to serve.
All right. Thank you.